Good evening, grinders, and welcome to another episode of the Grind Fantasy Football Podcast. This is the Governor Greg Davis alongside Travis Big Chops Gonzalez.
How's it going,
Big
everybody?
Chops, what is going on?
Oh, just excited about this week 5. We got a Niner game on Thursday, so we get
Oh,
our
baby.
little dose of football a little earlier than most people.
Oh, baby.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's up to you.
Well, you should, I guess, kind of figure out what you're going to do on Sunday since there's no Niner game to, schedule around.
Yeah, might go
Maybe
visit the
we'll ask you
parents.
that
We'll
later
see.
in the podcast.
Yeah. All right.
Booyah. Well, hey, what do we got going on? How did we do last week? I guess is kind of the topic of conversation.
Oh, wouldn't
How
you like
were
to
our
know?
predictions? I do. I'm eager to know how well we are treating the fans of this show.
Well, not to spoil some of the later segments, but I did predict successfully that JNT would have his breakout game, and he did.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he had
Boy, did
33
he ever.
points, 33 points in PPR. Yeah, he was just all over the field, broke off that big 60-yard run, touchdown run, and yeah, he was looking a lot better. So could be a case of just, Raiders have been going up against, good run defenses, and he hasn't had a chance to kind of spread his wings. But yeah, we'll see what comes up in the near future. See if he can keep that momentum, live up to
Booyah.
his name. Yeah.
Wait.
All right. Should we
Well,
get into it real quick?
yeah, we are.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's let it rumble.
So we're just gonna do two halves this episode, just in and out real quick. First half, we talking about some. This is a big week for injuries. A lot of big names. Yeah, leagues are collapsing. People are freaking out. Cats and dogs sleeping together. It's all, it's nuts right now. So, along with all those injuries, means there's a lot of potential waiver wire pickups, people to keep an eye on. They've already cleared, but some instances there can still be guys on that waiver wire that you may want to keep an eye on. See if you can kind of bolster your waning troops. So let's get right into it. In no particular order, we're going to start off with Bucky Irving, who was marked as he was seen in a boot today, and there's been different reports, but from what it sounds like, he's definitely going to be out. It's at this point, it's going to be a question of how serious is his foot injury. I mean, for a running back, that's about as bad as it gets. And is he going to be put on the IR, or is this going to be something that he can recover from in a week or two? But as of right now, yeah, Bucky Irving is out for this Sunday's game. And yeah, just looking at some replacements. The top candidate by far is Rachaad White. Just looking at his roster stats, as of right now, this is the 1st of October at 10 o'clock at night. He's actually only rostered, according to what I can find, in about half the leagues. So if you want to look at your waiver wire, I think Rachaad White, he's had some good games, while he's had to cover for a main running back. He's probably if he's available, the top contender for picking up a replacement running back. So check your your waiver wire, see if he's available. Because if he is, you're playing in a taco league. And he should be rostered in pretty much everywhere. He's one of the top handcuffs for sure. Any thoughts on Rachaad White, Greg?
Yeah, I am still here. Yes, definitely.
Well,
yeah. No, we're.
I mean, he's had.
I don't know what to add. I guess
he's had top finishes.
He's great. Rachaad White is already obviously somebody who should be rostered in a PPR league anyways. Depending on how deep your bench is. So, yep, he's a great candidate for some future exposure, and I would definitely think that if he wasn't already rostered, you should definitely have him queued up. Of course, if we did the show yesterday, then we would have said the same thing.
Yeah,
in any
pretty much.
case, Sean Tucker, based on this news, probably gets a big bump due to his profile more as Bucky's direct backup rather than Rashad White, who would probably retain the same role in that third down back kind of situation.
Okay.
Rather than also taking over Bucky's touches, I would think. But that's something similar to one of the next backfields that had some turmoil today, which was
that would be the Arizona Cardinals.
yes.
Before we get started talking about this, let's pour one out for all the people who blew their fab or their waiver wire position to get Trey Benson, who looks like he's going on the IR. Yeah, it was announced this morning. Yeah, very unfortunate for the people who did that because they got one mediocre game out of him, and he was definitely one of the top waiver wire targets for just a couple days ago. And I know in my leagues, like, he was definitely a hot commodity. But just looking at some potential replacements, there is I don't even call it a civil war breaking out. There's Team DeMercado and Team Carter. This is very contentious. Who's going to take what role? What's the split going to be? From what I can tell, the rumblings that have been going around, sounds like Carter is actually taking the first team snaps. Now, whether that's because he has less experience and they're trying to get him, more game ready quicker, or if they intend for him to take the lion's share of the carries, that's kind of up in the air right now. Keep that in mind for sure. He did take first team snaps today.
Yeah, well, I mean, big shops. I think the big thing is DeMercado has always been the third down back, and kind of the same thing with the last backfield. There's not like a one-to-one replacement for the running back who went out. Yeah. James Conner was really obviously the A1, and then Benson was supposedly the analog for him, and now he's gone. And DeMercado, who was never repping at that role, now, is he gonna mid-season change, or is somebody who was repping at that role, albeit on the practice squad, so they're emulating other running backs throughout the league on a given week? Does it make more sense for that person to run between the tackles while DeMercado still maintains their third down 2-minute role? And maybe that's more amplified, even in lieu of the injury to Benson.
Yeah.
So I think that is a totally valuable take, that Carter is going to be utilized probably more so than you might think, and DeMercado will probably maintain the same role that he's had, maybe with a slight uptick in carries.
I mean, it also, I think, depends on what type of league that you're in, too. If you're in PPR, as far as I know, DeMercado is, a third down back, and he catches more passes, too. So that could be sort of the kicker right there on whether if either of these guys or both of them are available, you end up choosing him. And in addition to that, he's also about, I think, an inch taller and about 15 pounds heavier, so he's much beefier. But from at least
I would take a look at the usage for him and for Benson last week. He was, even though he had the touchdown,
he did get, I think, most
game,
of the red zone opportunities.
Well, I think if you look at like how many snaps they played and everything, you'll be surprised. And I think that Carter does fill in that similar skill set more so than DeMercado. Anyways, I think they're both very good potential options. But if you're, parsing now that we know he's on IR, I think Carter's. And you look at the lowly Titans defense that they're playing against this week.
Yeah, if they're not spending too much time on third down, then yeah, Carter may end up.
I think Carter could be the sneakier, better bet this week, and potentially. I mean, he was productive. Where he's been previously in his career. So I don't think that he'll be a total schlub. I think he'll be a pretty good.
Yeah. So 7 points from one, 6 from the other. Sounds like.
Anyway. Yeah.
I don't think any of them are going to stand out significantly.
Long story short, the Cardinals often suck, so stay away at all costs. The end.
Unless you're real desperate, and if you are, sounds like Carter might have a slight edge, just for this week at least. But for the future, not something you really want to invest in unless you just happen to have room and you want to be a dick and deny somebody else from your league. But that's up to you. All right, so now we're getting to the bigger injuries. The first one, Tyreek Hill with just a gruesome, potentially career-ending injury.
All right. Well, he was terrible all season, anyways. So Dolphins. Their quarterback stayed healthy, but now their top receiver's out. Somebody probably spent the highest draft capital on outside A-Chain in that offense. So, what do you do?
Well, I think this is more a question of how is this going to affect other offensive players in, going forward. Obviously this brings Waddle, who's underutilized talent on that team, to the wide receiver position. One, is he going to be able to step up to that role, fill in and be close to as productive as Tyreek Hill has been past? But that's hard to say, with just this kind of impotent Miami offense. It's I mean, Jalen Waddle's he's pretty much rostered in all leagues, so it's a question of does he become like a proper flex play or maybe a wide receiver 2 play, or is this just the death knell for Miami offense? Just looking at, he's already got a couple touchdowns. He's finished. He's sniffed at wide receiver 1 status a couple weeks. He finished 23rd. No, this is standard. Finished 14th and 22nd in week 2 and 3, but those are against. Did they play Carolina? Hasn't exactly.
Well, dude, listen. The Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Targets aren't going to Jalen Waddle. They're not going to Waller or whomever. They're going to go to some other. No.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill runs like as fast as he can down the sideline.
Yeah. Do they have anybody else
every single time
fill his shoes, so to speak? That role?
Well, if they do, then none of them are called Jalen Waddle or A-Chain or fucking, for Christ's sakes, Waller. They have Malik Washington, who I think is the kind of 1-for-1, speedster receiver.
Yeah, he's definitely talked about.
Yeah, I think Waddle is definitely going to be the guy who still maintains that. I think he's going to get a higher percentage because of the chemistry and the trust and everything. But I don't think it's going to be like he's all of a sudden like taking the top off the defense or anything like that.
So would you say that, like, since they no longer have that deep threat, that defenses will be able to play a little closer to the line and put more pressure on the weapons that they do have right now?
Well, their running game has never been good this year. I don't think that's been, that's not like a hot take or anything. Their running game has been shitty. Achane has been Good, only because he's Achane. He's had a ton of targets and catches out of the backfield. And Ollie Gordon, every once in a while, will slam between tackles and like get lucky and falling for a touchdown or whatever. But outside of that, like the offense is really just not working. And I think that Tua is doing the best he can. I just don't think he's that great. He can't hit Tyreek down the field, which is kind of why part of the reason he broke his knee. And I think that the Waller Waddle kind of targets are the same targets. They're the same 5-10 yard in curl out routes, and Tua does well with those, but you're not able to open up anything. So why wouldn't I just sit, in defensive shell where I can limit those? There are no threats of deep balls, so I can just cap it at the 20-yard line and know that nobody's gonna throw the ball past me, and then Achane is going to run up the middle, which is not suited to do. And anyways, it's a mess for the Dolphins offense, and I think they're going to be way worse without Tyreek Hill, who is the only perceived threat, even though he wasn't even very good this year. And they're going to be a liability. Anybody you have on the Dolphins offense, week to week could be terrible. They could have 15 targets a game if you're at Chan or Waddle, but it's.
I mean, they are playing.
I don't think that's sustainable.
They are playing Carolina, and from what it looks like, Carolina is giving up some of the most, if not the most, fantasy points. Defensively. You think this could be a point where, that could factor into it? Just the opponent that they play won't be able to apply that pressure.
Well, I think that you look historically what the coach has been able to do with the Dolphins, and they prey on more weak teams, I guess, and then if they lose, generally it's to better teams. They don't beat better teams. So the Panthers or whomever that's on that credier side of, hey, we might just be getting there. Yeah, they're gonna probably beat them, but I don't think they will. I also think that this team is extremely flawed, and I don't think the Dolphins have as much talent as or coaching acumen that's going to get them over that hump. And I think this is a game that the Panthers, with the players they have, I think they can pull it off.
All right, fair enough. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk about our final major injury of week, and that is Malik Nabers his it's that the New York Giants stadium turf strikes again. It's pretty.
That's the worst venue in sports for player safety. It's fucking outrageous.
Yeah,
they keep allowing that to happen.
Lots of ligaments. It's not good.
I mean, it's almost as bad as the actual Astrodome back in Houston, way back in the day. The original, birthplace of AstroTurf, where numerous people's careers ended. And this is just a continuation of that concept. Unbelievable. And then fucking 2025, we're still talking about this shit, and it's disgraceful. Really sucky.
So there's been.
Anyways, Malik Nabers, one of the best receivers in the fucking world. Somebody who is awesome.
Had potential to be the top wide receiver of the year. Along with Puka Nacua.
I don't know. How about players who played in New York, like Odell Beckham Jr. or
Yeah, it's claimed him before.
yeah,
Pretty sure. Yeah, it's. Yeah. But yeah.
just stud #1 players, best of all time. Fucking unreal.
Yeah. So there are two guys that have people are thinking are going to rise up and sort of fill that void. Sort of another
Yeah.
head-to-head. Who do you think is going to take over? We got Wanderlei Robinson, and Darius Slayton. People, it's hard to. This one's I think a little more difficult to kind of analyze and predict. You also have Jackson Dart as QB now too, and this guy he ran 10 times last game. Like, or is he even gonna like throw the ball that much? He only had 20 attempts. Granted, it was against the Chargers, and they have a pretty tight defense when it comes to the passing game. Let's see who they play. But they are playing New Orleans. So I think just the fact that they're playing New Orleans, you want to consider either one of these guys. Robinson, I believe, has more experience with the team. He's been with them longer, if I recall. But just looking at the game logs, he seems to, he's got 8, 10, 4, and 5 targets on the year. Compared to Slayton, 0, 2, 4, 3. But I mean, there wasn't too much of a difference once those first 3 weeks were with what's his name? Russell Wilson. So I mean, game 4 they had a lot tighter, amounts of targets and stats. So I mean, I think they're both worth considering if you're, kind of weak on the wide receiver end. But I don't know. Do you have any insight on who might expect to kind of fill that void? Either one of these guys? Greg?
Pretty sure you said it all.
All right. Well, just looking at some stats. I don't think Jackson Dart is much of a guy to throw deep, but when he does, it looks like about half the time. It's going to Slayton. He had 51% air yard share, so consider that. I think Wanderlei is higher on people's lists, but I think at least in this scenario, Slayton might be the sleeper in this case. So we'll keep an eye on him.
It's not really like a sleeper situation. It's more like why would Robinson's situation change? Like he wasn't the one who got hurt. Neighbors was the outside X receiver, and Slayton was his understudy, like his backup essentially.
Yeah.
So Robinson's involvement in the offense shouldn't change at all. Slayton should literally take the neighbors like targets when he's in that position. He might not take him if like neighbors was in like a slot role and then whatever, but he should take all of neighbors like X outside receiver reps, and I think that should be a productive role. I think kind of like we talked about earlier, Robinson's is probably a safer. He's going to get 5, 7-ish targets a week. But Robinson's 4 or 5 targets a week are going to be of higher quality, and he might cash in on a few more of them. So his ceiling is a little bit higher. So that's the way I rank them. And yeah, if you're looking for just like I need, a flex that's going to get me 8, 10 points a week, sure, Robinson's where it's at. But if I need like somebody who can possibly get me 20 points a week, I think Slayton has that ability with the idea that
So
he
it's a
might also get you like 5 points a week.
matter of floor versus ceiling. Because looking at some stats here, I mean,
So.
the new
I think so.
different quarterback definitely throws a big wrench into the equation. But looks like last year.
Yeah. And also his running, like, is he going to take that if he's trying to take off? He's not going to look at the shallow route. He's going to look at the deep route.
Okay.
So his running ability is also going to kind of open up that. It's going to suck in that deeper linebackers kind of thing, and he's going to be able to operate with more space down the deep part of the field, I think.
Okay, it's an interesting point. But just from the stats I saw, I mean, Malik Neighbors did miss some time last year, and when he did, Robinson looks like over those games he actually averaged 10 targets per game. But I mean, like I said, that's
that
with
was
a
with
different
shitty ass
yeah.
fucking Daniel Jones. That was just Daniel Jones, who had no like coaching help from Dayball whatsoever. Jackson Dart has a live arm. It's very accurate. Yeah, like that's not the same, non-equal.
All right. Sounds good. So yeah, if you're looking for a ceiling, pick up Slayton. If you're looking for a reliable floor, pick up Robinson. All right,
and if you're in my league, don't pick up either.
I think it's already too late for that.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, Ben. But yeah, that wraps up our injury analysis and waiver wire, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll be back with our betting segment in the second half.
Welcome back, grinders, to the Grind Fantasy Football Podcast. Big Chops, what's going on, dude?
Just prepping for the second half, getting my stats ready. But
Hey, it's the 1st of October. What are you gonna be for Halloween, dude?
oh, that depends. I'm actually helping out. A friend of mine puts on a garage haunted house every year, so they always have a different theme. So I think they're still working on that, getting the garage prepped, and then getting that theme ready. So it all depends. Haven't set it up yet, but yeah, gonna have a lot of fun scaring little kids. What about you, man? You have any ideas on what you and the family are gonna go as?
Well, every year I always want to do Scooby Doo. We have a big
Ooh.
brown dog, so that's pretty obvious.
Oh, that would be fun.
And then my wife tells me I have to be Fred, and my son gets to be Shaggy, which I think is
That seems a little
kind of
backwards.
a gross mischaracterization of our talents as far as Halloween costumed folks go. And
Well,
our
who's
daughter is
who,
blonde, so she's probably gonna be Daphne because Daphne acts blonde. Um, which leaves Julia as old Velma, which I'm sure every time I mention that, she probably regrets offering that as a costume. Anyways, that's what I always wanted to do. It never works out. I'm sure it won't work out this year, but if it does,
fingers
I'll let you
crossed.
know. As soon as pictures.
Now,
Otherwise,
yeah. Yeah, so
yeah,
yeah, let's just get right into it. Second half of our episode 5
lay on
podcast.
me.
Yeah, we're gonna be looking at the bets, and just to start off, we'll do a quick little recap of Travis's teasers. We had a great week last week. Went 3 for 3, so that's a big boost to our
Whoa.
season's winnings. Nice way to
Whoa.
turn it around. So yeah, real excited, real hot start. First bet I had was Jets plus 8.5, and yeah, that one, I believe they took it by
Plus 8.5. Huh.
well, the teaser is they started off as a 2.5 point, but
Is
yeah, so that was a nice easy win for us there.
Justin Fields with that 43-yard touchdown run. Very nice.
I mean, they still lost to the Dolphins, though. That's pretty hard to do, but I mean, it's any given Sunday, anything can happen. I was surprised that
It's
they
the
were
NFL.
underdogs.
NFL, any win is hard.
Yeah, so yeah, they ended up losing by 6, but with that 8.5 points, gives us that little extra 2.5 point buffer. So that was a nice little win right there. Second bet was Denver from minus 7.5, teased down to minus 1.5, and they just mollywopped the Bengals. That was just a disappointing. I mean, to be expected, disappointing, but still nonetheless disappointing effort from the Bengals so far and last week. But yeah, Denver minus 1.5. That was another win right there. And then our third game, Chicago. It was they were the underdogs to the Raiders, plus 2.5 points. The away underdogs. So we teased that to 8.5. And yeah, the Raiders. It was let's just say the Bears tried everything that they could to try to lose this game, but the Raiders came out on bottom and proved them wrong. Ended up losing on a blocked field goal as time was pretty close to expiring.
Sometimes I love being on bottom, but I never love losing. That's the way that works. Yeah, well, way to go, Travis, on Travis's teasers.
Yes,
holy mackerel.
That puts us at plus 8.6 units on the season, with an ROI of 55.48, which is amazing. I told you to temper your expectations last year. An ROI of that is, not exactly sustainable, but there are streaks, so let's just ride it while it's hot.
Boom, biggity, boom. All right, and what do we have left to close out the show tonight, Mr. Big Chaps?
Take a little close look at Thursday's game. We got
I mean,
those Thursday games they're never really that fun.
You know, my maxim of all Thursday night games is you play maybe, I guess, potentially the home running back and you fade everybody else. Unless, of course, the home running back sucks or you have studs, you know, your number one receiver, running back, whatever types. You know, I guess unless it's Justin Jefferson and or
like
Jamar Chase with
complete
like
stud.
questionable backup quarterback situations. But generally speaking, I avoid everybody in the Thursday night games because they're shitty. They're the worst. They're the most terrible thing ever. But the home running back seems to be, you know, what you expect, which is better than everybody else, I guess.
Less affected by the circumstances.
Yeah. So going into tomorrow, I don't know. I'm sorry. What were you saying? I feel like I interrupted you. I apologize, Big Chops.
No, it's pretty much it's kind of where you're going with that. I was just gonna brag about having Kyron Williams, but that's just personal thing.
That's fine. I think that you look at the injuries on both sides. You know, you have
both sides.
Purdy. All right. Well, you got Purdy pretty much not going to play.
Yeah, having toe problems again.
Yeah.
That's not
good. Go figure. Oh, ligament problem. Oh, 10 days of rest is fine. It's fine. Stupid. You have Pearsall who felt something. What do you say? Wasn't stable. Like didn't feel stable. I think was the words you used.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't sound good. And then you have Jennings who because Purdy was didn't have his toe working, he couldn't dig in and drive throws, so everything was sailing on him, and so he basically was hospital balls left and right.
Just floating
do you think fucking Demarcus Robinson didn't want to catch that ball? Yeah, he didn't want to catch that ball. He could have caught that ball. He's like, I'm gonna fucking get killed if I catch this ball. I'm not doing that.
I want to be able to recognize my children. When I go
business decision. Yeah, I'd like to be able to play with them with my lower extremities. So I think the word was out, and the drops were not like an isolated incident. I think it was because Purdy was clearly inaccurate with a lot of his throws, and a lot of them were sailing, and you could see that. And I think that the offensive players were saying, "I got to go all the way up for that one. I'll go most. I mean, it'll touch my fingertips. I'm not fucking laying all the way out for that fucking ball.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. So yeah, I think that the Niners are going to be pretty shitty tomorrow. I guess that's long. I need to pick the Rams defense in one of my leagues because I think the Niners are going to score 13 points. Maybe. It's not going to be good. They're going to be terrible.
That's a very dismal forecast.
Well, who do you have? You got Jennings out, Pearsall out. Like we said, McCaffrey's probably going to get 15 targets, 30 probably touches. These are the kinds of games where short week you only have one person in line. Like Brian Robinson better get 20 touches tomorrow. Because Niners aren't going to win this game unless the defense balls out and kills Stafford. I saw a crazy stat last week, and I forget the tip of the hat, but the Niners didn't have a quarterback hit or a sack on Trevor Lawrence last week. That was the first time in That was the first time in like 10 years or something that they hadn't had a quarterback, either a quarterback hit or a quarterback sack in a game.
Yeah, they're really missing Bosa for sure.
Really missing Bosa, and that sucks. And dude, they were terrible. The Jacksonville Jaguars were offensive line was terrible. But the defense still played well, and they still kept the offense, who played like shit, had all those turnovers, still kept them in it. So yeah, tomorrow night, the defense, they're gonna have to rely on them again. And if the defense shows up, there's a chance. And if the defense has any kind of letdown, Niners are sunk. Like there's no way they can overcome those injuries at those positions, and like on a short week, like with all your receivers out, and be like, oh, everything's fine. I know the Rams are on a short week too, but even though it's a short distance, they're still the home team. They still get to like go home, fuck their wives every night before the game starts. Niners have to like, go down to Los Angeles. Anyways, I think the Niners lose. I don't think it's competitive. I think the score might not be like terrible, but I don't think it's like a competitive game. I think the Rams pretty much have all the momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love it. I
You
don't
think
love it,
they're
dude.
kind of semi rolling over, conceding this game just to give extra time for these guys to get some rest in and not risk minimal injuries?
I think they were too unctuous with regard to how they treated the Jacksonville game. I think they shouldn't have brought Purdy back. Of course, they couldn't have started fucking Mac Jones, right? He had the knee injury. So I think it was a bummer that they had to bring back Purdy. I think that hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they might have overlooked Jacksonville, their home opener, with not the home opener, but the second home game with um the Rams on the horizon. So maybe they were looking ahead. Maybe, I think the bullshit Salah, Liam Cohen argument thing, I think that's stupid. I don't think that matters at all whatsoever. But I do think that Purdy probably wasn't ready, and they probably had to have him start because Mac Jones' fucking knee was fucked up. And I think that kind of screwed up the whole operation. I also think they need to give McCaffrey fewer reps. I think they need to get Garendo in there more. McCaffrey just like between the tackles, even on outside runs, he just doesn't have that burst, that like I'm gonna break through your arm tackle that he used to have kind of thing. Uh, I don't know. Something looks off with him. He was great as a receiver. Like he's still shifty. They still scheme him up so where he's always in a position to make a catch and get a couple yards. But the designed runs for McCaffrey, whether it's from the gun or off center or whatever, like he just can't get through the first contact. It seems like he used to be able to.
It's unfortunate.
Maybe you've seen that. Maybe you haven't seen that. I don't know, but that just I think McCaffrey is a concern out of the backfield. I think his receiving prowess, totals, usage, everything is exceptional, elite. Did you know that the Niners are the only team in the NFL who haven't scored a rushing touchdown this year?
Really? Holy smoke, that's concerning. That is very concerning. That's kind of, been kind of the bread and butter for a while.
Only team. Yeah, kind of
Well,
weird.
hopefully they can turn that around tomorrow.
Yeah, they will. They will for sure. Yeah, man. So, anyways, anyways, not to be like a harbinger of sorrow or anything. Just didn't think that the Niners are set up super well for this game tomorrow. Not to think that they can't turn around or anything. I just think tomorrow is after the loss of the Jaguars, especially at home. Now they have to go on the road, short week, division rival. I don't love their chances. Would love if they could overcome those things, but anyways, that's my take on tomorrow's game. And in the pick'em, I take the Rams. And at 8, what did you say? 8 points, 8.5 points.
Depends on, you got to shop around. You can get it anywhere between 7.5 to 8.5. So, just looking at the spread, I do my teasers Saturday, so I'm not gonna include them into my official record. But looking at the Rams minus 7.5, even 8.5 too. You only have books that can get you to 8.5. They're a nice prime target for a teaser down to minus 1.5 to minus 2.5. So yeah, if you got your own ideas for teasers, Rams are definitely one to throw in there. But I wouldn't touch the total though. There's a lot of money on the over, but it was 47. The money pushed it to 47.5, but then with the news on these three, Purdy, Jennings, and Pearsall being out, it dropped to a full 2 points down to 45.5. I think it's just too volatile. I mean, typically these Thursday games, even like primetime games, and especially Thursday games, tend to go under, but with the money being on the over, there's just too many conflicting variables for me to make any call on that. But yeah, Rams minus 7.5. If you like teasers, that's a juicy one, right?
Boom, love it, dude. All right, anything else we have before we end this lovely Wednesday night?
No, just
October 1st.
Stay tuned. We're gonna possibly try to get a Saturday podcast session in. Where we can talk the upcoming slate of games on Sunday. We'll be able to give it our even more attention just because the Niners have already played. Get that out of our system. And I should have a nice set of 3 more juicy teasers for you. And a whole lot more to come. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll keep you posted and put up a not a warning, but sort of a heads up on when our next broadcast is going to be. So yeah, stay tuned.
It's going to be a warning for sure. It's definitely a warning, Travis. All right. Yeah. So all you grinders out there, thank you for grinding with us on the Grind Podcast. Big Chops, thanks for doing what you do, and we will see you guys on the other side. Go fucking Niners.
Yep, Niners.
I smell upset. Just kidding. I don't smell upset. I smell doggy dew. It's kind of the same thing. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
See ya.